Wow. That was a crazy night for the NHL. I mean, it was only the third night, but it was still crazy. First off, welcome the new pennant, New York Rangers pennant. Ordered it off of Fanatics. I have two more pennants on the way, so that's good to know. Nothing else coming up with the setup changes, by the way, so I thought I'd just let you guys know about that. And yeah, today was a great game. We saw the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Ottawa Senators play, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers play, the Colorado Avalanche and St. Louis Blues play, the Washington Capitals and the Buffalo Sabres play, and I'm missing one. Tampa Bay and Chicago. So I have all the notes here in this note sheet here, and we're going to get into all the games. But first off, if you haven't already, please go down below and subscribe. That would mean a lot to me and my consistency with the channel, trying to keep this going and stuff. And apologies for not posting a news time earlier today. That was due to personal reasons. I lost a friend who passed away recently, who passed away a few hours ago. Well, not a few hours ago. You know what I mean. So I kind of take a break with that. But yeah, anyways, we got the game reviews. Timestamps are below in case you're wondering where your team's at. And yeah, let's get into the first game. So I think the first game I have in here, I have to go like deep into my sheet because I have like notes for other games in here. Let's see. It's Colorado St. Louis. Let's do that one last, since that one was the craziest one of them all. Toronto versus Ottawa, Buffalo versus Washington. Okay, so we'll do Tampa Bay versus Chicago first. And look, I know Chicago lost, but they played a much better game than they did yesterday, or 2 days ago, sorry, against the Lightning. So, starts off in the first period. There was really nothing that went down. Also, by the way, I didn't watch all these games. I just kept on the notes and like from the highlights I saw and stuff. It was much better. I think Delia was making much better saves than Subban, and really, in all honesty, that goaltender battleground is going to be a huge thing for the Chicago Blackhawks and what they're going to determine with that for the coming years. And yeah, the only thing that happened was Chicago got a penalty, Duncan Keith for holding. That was killed off by Chicago. And then it just started happening. The explosion. Second period, Tampa Bay scores with Palat getting his second goal of the season, with Stamkos getting the assist, his third assist of the season, and it's 1-0 Tampa. Amazing how Stamkos, he was talking about developing himself. He talked about recovering from his injury, seeing Kucherov get injured, and seeing all this stuff happen. But Tampa still showing no signs of slowing down, which is great to hear for Tampa Bay fans. So yeah, and then Tampa scored again. Alex Killorn to make it 2-0, first goal of the season. Johnson and Cirelli get the assists. And there you go. Then they score again. It was basically an onslaught, just like game one. Tampa scores. Coleman with the first goal. It was challenged for unsuccessful challenge, and Chicago got a penalty. Was killed off. And yeah, Coleman got the goal with Gaudreau and Gord getting the assists. And then Tampa Bay got a penalty. That was Barclay Gaudreau for tripping. And Chicago scored. Alex DeBrincat scores with Strome and Boquist getting the assists. Honestly, that's not that bad of a goal. I mean, they're only within two, so maybe they can possibly come back. You know what? They kind of showed signs of going back. They started pushing shots on net. And then Chicago scored with Kane getting the goal, and then DeBrincat getting the assist. And then towards the end of the second period, Tampa got a penalty, so Chicago heads into the third period with a power play. So that's great to see. They're only down by one goal too. And then Tampa gets another penalty after the one's killed off, where Point gets a holding penalty that's killed off. Chicago gets a penalty as well. That's Point Suter. There was another player named Suter on the ice. I was like, what? For hooking, that's killed off. And then Tampa scored Yanni Gord with Coleman and Gaudreau to get the assists, and that pretty much just put it away for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa did get a penalty, though. Sergachev for interference, that was killed off. And then Stamkos scored late with Palat and Point getting the assists. Final score was a whopping score of 5-2. It sucks for Chicago. But, we expected this. We expected this to go down. We expected the next couple of years to be pretty hard for Chicago, honestly. This team doesn't have that much of a future, doesn't have too much depth coming up in the offense. It's going to be interestingly tough how Chicago is going to pull this season off in a way. So I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. I think everyone's expecting that. But, it's really just a challenge right now for the Blackhawks because they really just got to get through the next couple of years of pain. Really, honesty. All right, Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. So Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. I'll talk about the Flyers more because the Flyers are my favorite team more in the power rankings later tonight. But I will say this right here and now. What the heck, Philadelphia? I know they won 5-2, and we're 2-0. Let's go. But what? They can't keep doing this. So, first period, Pittsburgh gets a penalty starting off right away for too many men, and then boom, Konechny explodes right off the bat. Konechny scores first goal of the season with Voracek and Drew getting the assist, 1-0. Right after that, then, not long after that, I remember I was going home from hockey practice. They scored the first goal in the power play. Then I remember they scored the second goal. Konechny a second of the game with Patrick and JVR getting the assist. That one line of Patrick, Nolan Patrick is playing pretty well in his return. I'm pretty sure Patrick has 3 points already in just 2 games, which is amazing to see as a Flyers fan. It's great to see how Patrick recovered from the migraines and stuff. And then they scored again. Ivan Provorov with the assist of Voracek, and then JVR and Jari. Jari's out. Jari leaves. I remember Sullivan said things that he was thinking about pulling Jari in the 6-goal onslaught against the Flyers the last game 2 days ago, but he ended up not doing that, and he wouldn't even last 10 minutes. So then Philadelphia gets a penalty because they just have to, don't they? Provorov for roughing, and then Pittsburgh scores, and then Crosby gets the second goal of the season with Getzel and Russ getting the assist. And look, I'm gonna say this so many times. The Flyers need to learn not to just sit down. Not to just sit down and just say, oh, wait, this game's over. Great, we're up 3-0. Perfect. That happens with the Flyers. That happens with the Coyotes. That happens with the Lightning sometimes. That happens with all my 3 favorite teams. It makes me annoyed because, they'll just sit back and they'll be like, yeah, that's it. We're 3-0. We're done. No, you got to keep going at it. Philly should be showing no mercy. That's one thing that Philadelphia doesn't get. They should be showing no mercy at all. They should be going out there and putting an onslaught on the Penguins, on the Sabres, on whatever team they're playing, and just play hard. Not getting penalties, not letting in goals like this. And then they scored again. Tanev, McCann, and Jankowski. I said in the car, I remember saying this to my mom in the car, they better not choke this. Because I was like, great. And then they drew 2 penalties after that. Philip Myers for a slashing that was ended up killing off, luckily. And then Nicholas Abe-Kubel for cross-checking that was killed off, luckily, as well. The second period was Pittsburgh. All Pittsburgh. There was a few penalties for Pittsburgh there, but it was all Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh gets 2 penalties, Letang and Matheson for holding and tripping. They're both killed off. And then Philadelphia gets their lone penalty for Lofton for slashing into McCann for elbowing towards the end of the second period there. Yeah, really in all honesty, when you look at it from my aspect, it was all Penguins that period. There was really nothing else to it. To be entirely honest with you, there was nothing else to it besides that whole period was Pittsburgh. And that's another thing Philadelphia's got to get worried about too. I'll talk about this more in the power rankings when we do that later tonight. But I need to say this. Philadelphia needs to stop doing this to the point where they just suck in the second period and then they come out in the first and third and end up winning. That's going to bite them in the ass in the future. I'm just going to say that right here now. Apologies for my profanity, but that's just what's going to happen. So yeah, and the second period. Third period, the Flyers get a penalty early. Abe-Kubel for interference. I'm like, that's great, right? So yeah, and then they get that out. They kill that. Pittsburgh gets a penalty. Jason Zucker for slashing, and that ends up being a goal. Travis Konechny gets his first career hat trick and his first hat trick, first goal of the season, or third goal of the season, with Hayes and Drew getting the assist. The Hayes, Kevin Hayes and Claude Giroux, still showing no signs of decreasing. Honestly, they're playing pretty good in these first 2 games. And then Philly got an empty net goal. Oscar Lindblom, of all people, of course. Got to be Lindblom. Why not? And there you go. Assist by Lofton and Konechny. Final score 5-2 in favor of Philadelphia, and they are 2-0. Now, you're going to see why in the power rankings I don't have them ranked up there. I don't have them ranked too high up there. They're ranked up high, but they're not ranked too high. And that's because they're risking their ability to choke. They're going down pretty early. They did that in the past couple games. And the second period, they can't keep doing that. So yeah, Philly's 2-0, Pittsburgh's 0-2. Honestly, if you're a Pittsburgh fan, I wouldn't blame you for this. I thought you guys played pretty well in these 2 games. That you just kind of got onslaughted by Philadelphia, specifically Carter Hart. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh played well. I'm optimistic to see what they're going to do against Washington when they open up in their home opener against them. So yeah, final tallies here: 5-2. Shots were 20-33 in favor of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was 1-6 on the power play. Philadelphia was 1-5. 31-25 were the hits in favor of Philadelphia. And yeah, there you go. Honestly, that was really just jinx of it of the whole game. Buffalo versus Washington. Washington starting off there. Washington, you need to not do this. You need to not cause so many penalties. This was the hugest thing I saw with Washington today. And that's what I saw with last game, too. They need to not cause penalties. That's the biggest thing with this team. So, yeah. Their backup goalie, I can't even say his name, makes his debut today. So, Washington starts off with 3 penalties. Dylan for hooking, Sherry for tripping, and Kuznetsov for hooking. That's the whole first period for you. Really nothing else in there. And, yeah, honestly, they can't keep drawing penalties. It's going to bite them in the butt later. Second period, Washington scores. Jacob Verano with an assist by Wilson, and it's 1-0 Washington, and then they get another penalty. Carlson for slashing, and that's it for the whole period for Washington. And that's the biggest thing. I'm going to say it so many times in this review. They need to not cause penalties. They're playing so great, and the goaltending so far, although we're only 2 games in, it's making me pretty excited because Samsonov played well in Game 1, and this Velacek guy played great in his debut. So we'll see how these 2 guys are going to do. Maybe it'll be like Shesterkin and Georgiev. Don't quote me on that. But, it's definitely a possibility, but I honestly just don't know when it comes to Washington right now. So, yeah, then Buffalo scores Ristolainen getting the first goal, and Taylor Hall and Eichel getting the assist. Taylor Hall and Jack Eichel getting off their great starts. Taylor Hall showing no signs of decreasing since leaving Arizona. So, everything with that. I think Buffalo, don't ignore that. I think Buffalo played pretty good in that period, to be honest with you. I think Buffalo played the past 2 games good. They showed effort. They kept trying to fight back, which is something we didn't see out of them a lot in the past couple seasons. In Game 1, in the first game against the Capitals, 2 days back, they played well. I think they played well. They fought themselves in it. Washington held on for the win. And then this game, too, I thought they showed him pretty good signs offensively. They didn't play too bad defensively. They're playing hard. That's the thing with Buffalo. They're playing hard. They're just not getting much luck when it comes to the pucks. They're running into 2 hot goalies. Not hot. They're running into 2 solid goaltenders. So, Washington scores then. Tom Wilson with Backstrom getting the assist. Washington gets another penalty to just risk their lives of losing. Chara for holding. They luckily kill that penalty off. But yeah, the penalty kill in Washington's great, but they can't keep doing that. They can't keep doing that, bottom line. Final score 2-1 Washington. Washington 2-0, Buffalo 0-2. Washington gets 21 shots, Buffalo gets 31. Washington had no power plays. And then Buffalo was 0 for 6. 0 for 5. 0 for 5. You cannot get 5 penalties in a single game and expect to come out of it alive. Pittsburgh. But yeah, 27-15 were the hits in favor of Washington. But yeah, when you look at it, honestly, they are ranked pretty high on my power rankings. But they kind of did come out here with a lucky win. When I look down at it in all honesty, they came out with 2 lucky wins, so they have a 2-0 start to the season. But yeah, we'll see how they play against Pittsburgh in the coming months, or the coming days, sorry. But yeah, Montreal and Toronto. What was this game? I didn't watch any of it. I would just watch the highlights. What on earth? Okay, Ottawa, coming into this. I didn't expect Ottawa to be that good coming into this. Ottawa, they have a point to prove. And I'm so excited to watch Ottawa play this season. Because I expected them to have only 1 year left on this rebuild. But I know it's only 1 game, but after game 1, if they can play like this every game, they might actually stand a chance of making the playoffs. Like I'm not even joking. They might actually stand a chance at making the playoffs. It's unbelievable to think. So, first period, Ottawa gets a penalty by Stepan delay of game. Stepan gets a lot of penalties this game. They kill that off. Ottawa gets a penalty. That's Paquette for holding. So they get 2 penalties there. And then that one eventually is scored on. Toronto scores. Zach Hyman with Tavares and Nylander getting the assists. It's 1-0 Maple Leafs. Then Toronto gets 3 straight penalties. Dermott for slashing. Thornton for high sticking. Those both were killed off. And then this one wasn't. Don't know who that is. It says 2 men. What? Oh, too many men. I thought it said 2 men. Too many men penalty for Toronto. And Ottawa gets one. Thomas Chabot gets the first goal for Ottawa's season with Batherson and Norris getting the assists. It's 1-1. Second period, Ottawa explodes, but not before Toronto. Kerfoot scores his first of the season with Hull and Mikheyev getting the assists. It's 2-1. Then they go off. Brady Tkachuk scores with Zaitsev and Norris getting the assists. 2-2. Then they score again. Austin Watson, his first goal as the Ottawa Senator, with Coburn and Paul getting the assists. It's 3-2. Then they get another one with Tierney and Zaitsev getting the assists. Or Tierney getting the goal, Zaitsev and Titkok getting the assist. 4-2 Ottawa. Then it's another penalty for Ottawa. Shabbat with a high stick. That's killed off. Then Toronto gets a penalty towards the end. Spezza for tripping. That's killed off as well. 4-2 after the first. 4-2 after 2 periods of play for Ottawa. That's great. And then you look at the third period. They played great there too. Ottawa. They scored again. Stepan. His first goal as Ottawa Senator. Kind of hurt as a Coyotes fan, honestly. But yeah, Tkachuk and Batherson get the assists. It's 5-2. Toronto scores, then Tavares gets the 5-3 goal. That's the last goal of the game. Ottawa and Toronto makes for penalties. It's all a bunch of penalties here. Watson gets a penalty for slashing. That ends up being the goal that Toronto scores with. Then Toronto just decides to throw hands with everyone. Toronto gets a penalty for high sticking. Nylander high stick there, killed off. And then Toronto gets a bunch of penalties. Simmons misconduct. They basically just threw hands after that. Jimmy Vesey then got a penalty for roughing, and then Connor Brown got a penalty for roughing as well. So, it's 4-on-4 with 20 seconds left. So, basically meant nothing. Final score, 5-3 for Ottawa. Hella impressive, honestly. When I look at that, that's very impressive as a Ottawa Senators fan as myself. So, yeah, Toronto's 1-1-0. Ottawa's 1-0. Shots were 23-24 in favor of Ottawa. Toronto was 2 for 5 on the power play. Ottawa 1 for 5 on the power play. Hits were 33-12 in favor of Ottawa. Ottawa played a great game. I think that's really just all it comes down to, honestly. But yeah, bottom line, I'm just really proud of this Senators team. Toronto, you need to regroup. It was looking like you guys were going to win and go 2-0, but no, you guys went out in a brutal game. It was a great game for Ottawa, but Toronto, you need to improve when I think you play Ottawa in 2 days. Okay, final game here. Let's do this in under 25 minutes, shall we? Can we do it in under 25 minutes, though? Colorado versus St. Louis. Now, St. Louis, coming into this, I was like, all right, so St. Louis was looking great. Colorado doesn't really look too much in shape. I had a feeling Colorado will bounce back at some point, but nothing like this. I had a feeling St. Louis would get at least 2 goals, but no. Colorado obliterated them at that. First period, basically nothing, just all penalties. St. Louis gets 2, Colorado gets 3. I'm not really going to announce the names there. Dunn, Confer, Makar, Gerard, Sundqvist for multiple other reasons. You can just say all those names there. Because really, honestly, it was just a penalty-filled period for the team there. And then Colorado just went. Their power play, St. Louis, you cannot do that again. You cannot keep drawing that many penalties. But Colorado came in there and they were just like, zing! They got so many power play goals. So Landeskog starts off there with an assist from Graves and McKinnon. 1-0 Colorado there. St. Louis gets a penalty. Robert Thomas for hooking. And Colorado scores again. Burakovsky, second goal of the season with Grubauer getting the assist. Power play goal. Then Colorado scores again. Their only other non-power play goal. That's Landeskog again with Ronson getting the assists. And then St. Louis. You can't keep doing this. Schwartz with cross-checking. Colorado scores again. Rantanen with Makar and Kadri. Makar had 3 assists in this game. I'm pretty impressed with Makar in this game as another guy heading to there. And then that's it. The third period, Clifford gets a penalty for roughing, and then Colorado scores again with Kadri getting the assist. Makar, Makar and McKinnon assists. And then Colorado gets 2 penalties, Kadri for holding, and then just for slashing. Of course, they're both killed off. And then St. Louis gets a penalty for Sanford for interference. And then Colorado scores on that one. McKinnon and Makar McKinnon gets the goal and Makar gets the assist. 7-0. And then St. Louis gets a penalty. O'Reilly for hooking. Boom. Colorado scores again. Not even worth mentioning the last penalty. Final score, 8-0. I actually need that. I actually need this real quick. I don't even know what I was thinking doing that. But what on earth, St. Louis? St. Louis. Okay. St. Louis, I think, came into the game a little bit cocky. They lost Sammy Blaze to a suspension. I didn't cover that today. But yes, honestly, this is just a very disappointing game. I look at this and I say to myself, you know what? This is just disgraceful. Blues fans, you should be honestly just disappointed and frustrated with your team right now. Total stats here: 38-21 with the shots in favor of Colorado. 0 for 7. I have these mixed up. 6 for 7 was the power play for Colorado. 0 for 4 was the power play for St. Louis. The hits were 21-21 tied. And yeah, that is your game reviews for the night. Pretty crazy night on honesty when you look at it. But yeah, tomorrow I think we have about 15. We have a lot more games than today. But we do have a game at 1. We have a game at 4. We have a few games coming up. So we'll have a busy day tomorrow. I'll be definitely watching a couple games. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below of these games. Thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button as we're trying to get to 800 subscribers by June of 2021. Thank y'all for the constant support. And I'll see you guys later tonight for the Power Rankings.